Hello everyone, in today's tutorial we'll see how to create a glow effect using Adobe Photoshop. Alright, so let's get to it. Alright, so let's go ahead and open Photoshop. And as you can see, I already have the image open. So the first thing that we are going to do is to cut the snare from the background. And for this image, it will be easier to use the subject method because it's on focus. So let's go to select and choose subject. And let's see what selection will give us. As you can see, it did a very good job. I mean, we still have this area that we need to add to selection and maybe remove these parts in here. So we're gonna use the quick selection tool to do that. So let me go ahead and select it. And as you can see, I already have it in the plus in the middle in here. So this will add to the selection. So I will just zoom in and I will just paint like this, and this will add it to the selection. And if I want to remove some of the selection, I can just press Alt or Command on my keyboard and I will just remove this part in here. Alright, so let's go and see if we need to remove some selection. As you can see in this part in here, just remove it real quick. And this part of the wood. Alright, I think this is looking good. Now we'll select the select and the mask tab in here. And I will add a little bit of smoothness to my selection by going to the smooth, and I will put around 7 to 8 in the smooth in here. Alright, and I will press OK. Alright, now I'm gonna copy this selection to a new layer. So I'm gonna press Ctrl J or Command J on my keyboard, and this will put it in a new layer, as you can see. And I will name this layer Snare. And as you can see, it's already cut it and on another layer. Alright, now I'm gonna cut the eyes or the tentacles of the snail, and I will put them in a separated layer. So I will just use the pen tool to do that. So I will try to follow this part in here and in here and the edges of the eyes in here. Alright, as you can see now, I can just close the path. It's like that. Alright, and then I will load this selection of the path by right click and choose make selection, or you can press Ctrl or Command return and this will load the selection. And now we'll do the same. I will just press Ctrl J or Command J on my keyboard, and this will put it in a new layer. As you can see, now we have the eyes or the tentacles of the snail in a separated layer. Alright, let me name this eyes. And now we'll make the background back to visible. And then I will apply an adjustment to it. So I will make it a little bit darker, so the glow will show more. So I will go to my adjustments in here, and then I will choose color lookup. And I will load a file from this loot files, and I will choose this night from day. So this will make it look like it's in a night mode in here. But as you can see, it adds a little bit of blue to the board in here. I will just go and apply a hue and saturation adjustment on top, and I will make this saturation a little bit down so we can remove that bluish color in here. Something around -30, it will be good. Alright, now we can apply the glow effect or the blur on our eyes in here. So I will just select this eye layer, and then I will right click and I will convert it to smart object. We convert it to smart object so we can modify the blur on each layer we're gonna copy. or we're gonna make a copy of each layer, and we will modify the blur of each copy. You will see in a second. Now I'm gonna make a copy of these eyes by pressing Ctrl J or Command J on my keyboard, and then I will change the blending mode first to either a screen, or linear dodge add, or just experiment with this blending mode, light blending modes in here. For this one I think the screen will work the best, but you can experiment with each image that you want to apply this kind of glow effect on. Alright, so I will choose screen, and then I will go to filter, and I will choose blur, Gaussian blur. And for this first one we're gonna put 5 pixel radius, and I will press OK. Alright, now I'm gonna make another copy of this by pressing Ctrl or Command J on my keyboard, and then I can easily modify the Gaussian blur because we convert it to smart objects. So we'll just double click on this Gaussian blur in here, and this will allow me to modify it. Alright, instead of 5 pixel I'm gonna put 100, and I will press OK. Alright, now I'm gonna repeat the same. I'm gonna press Ctrl or Command J on my keyboard, and again I will modify the Gaussian blur by double click on it, and instead of 100 I will put 250 pixels, and I will press OK. And I will make another copy, and this will be the last. So I'm gonna press Ctrl or Command J on my keyboard, and again I will modify the Gaussian blur by double click on it, and instead of 250 I will put 500, and I will press OK. Alright, we are ready for our glow. Now I'm gonna put everything in a group, so I'm just gonna uncollapse all this, and I will one click to the eyes layer, and by pressing Shift on my keyboard I will go up to the last copy that we have, and one click, and this will select all the layers. Now I can either press Ctrl G on my keyboard or Command G on my keyboard, or I can just drag them to this group icon in here, and I will rename this to glow. Alright, now I'm gonna apply a hue and saturation adjustment. So I would go to the adjustment icon, and I will choose hue saturation, and then I will clip it to the group by one click on this icon in here, and then I will check colorize. This will allow me to colorize the glow. So I will start with the saturation. I will put it up till like 80 or 90, and then I will change the hue to whatever color I want. As you can see, I think for this one the orange or the yellowish color, it will look better. Yeah, like this one, I think it looks nice. Alright, so I will keep it 32, and I will hide this. Alright, as you can see, it gave a very good color to our glow. Now we need to apply the same light reflection to the body of the snail, and also to this board in here, so it will look a little bit realistic. And that's why we have the snail in another layer, so we can do that. So let me go ahead and select my snail layer, and then I'm gonna apply an adjustment to it. So I will go and choose level adjustment, and I will clip it to the snail layer by one click on this icon, and then I will bring down the whites a little bit, so it looks a little bit darker. It's around 216, and also the black, I will put more blacks to the snail, and maybe modify the midtones a little bit. Alright, something like that, it looks good. Alright, now I'm gonna copy the same hue and saturation layer that we have in here, or adjustment that we have in here. So I will select it, and I will press Ctrl J, and this will make another copy of it, and then I will take it and put it down the glow group in here. Alright, now we need to clip it to the snail layer, so we can just press Alt or Command on our keyboard and go between, and as you can see the cursor will change to this down arrow, and one click, and this will clip it to the snail layer. Now we're gonna use the the layer masks that we have in the hue and saturation, so we can delete some of this color that we don't want on the snail. So let me turn the layer mask first to black by double click on it, and this will open the properties. If this was the first time that you will double click on the layer mask, it will ask you if you want to open the properties or the select and mask. So just choose the properties, it's better. Alright, now I'm gonna invert the white layer mask to black by one click on this invert icon in here. Alright, now I will make sure that I'm selecting the layer mask, and I will go to my brushes, and I will choose a simple round brush, and the hardness is set to 0, and I will put the opacity also to around 60 to 50%. And I will make sure that my foreground color is set to white, and I will start like painting in the areas that I want the color or the reflection of the color on the body of the snail. A little bit in here and in this part. Alright, something like this one. Alright, something like this, it will look good. But I think I will put down the opacity a little bit to around 70 to 80%. It's a little bit. Alright, now we need to match the same dark tones that we have on the background on the body of the, or at least on this part of the snail that it's in the back. So to do that, we're gonna apply a layer mask on the snail layer in here by one click on this layer mask icon, and then we're gonna delete using the same brush this part of the body of the snail that we already have on this layer. So let me first make sure that the foreground color is set to black because we have a white layer mask, and then I will just delete this part in here, and as you can see it will match the same tone that we have on the background. Alright, and this will make the light look more realistic and visible. And if we want to add back, or if we want to undelete this stuff, we can just press X on the keyboard, and this will turn the black to white, and we can just put more light to the body of the snail, just like that. Alright, now we need to put the same color that we added to the light of the glow on this wood board that we have in here. So to do that, we're gonna make another copy of the hue and saturation that we have on top. So I will select it, and then I'll press Ctrl or Command J on my keyboard, and then I will put it down this time to be affected on the background. And then again I will invert my layer mask to black by double click on it and choose invert. Alright, now for this one, because we have a very simple rectangular board, we can just make a simple selection, so we can control more better where we're gonna paint on this wood in here. So we're just gonna make a selection, a normal rectangular selection. Alright, and let me make sure that it's on the line. Yeah, I think it looks good. Maybe I need to put it up a little bit like that, and maybe I will add more to the selection by pressing Shift. I can add more to my selection. Alright, now I want to exclude this part of the snail from the selection. So to do that, I will just go to my snail layer, and by pressing Ctrl and Alt, or Command and Alt on my keyboard, I can exclude or remove this part of from the selection. So I will just press Ctrl Alt on my keyboard and one click, and as you can see, this will remove it from the selection. And now this way we can just paint on the board without affecting these areas in here. So now I'm gonna hide my selection by pressing Ctrl H or Command H on my keyboard, and then I will make sure that I'm on the layer mask and using white as my foreground color and the same brush tool. I can just paint in here, so I can make what looks like a reflection of the lights on the wood part in here. Alright, I think it looks nice. Now I'm gonna press Ctrl H so I can deselect by pressing Ctrl D the selection. And now we're just gonna add a little bit of sparkles around it or surrounding this glow tentacles that we have in here. So to do that, we're gonna create a new brush from scratch. So let's go ahead and go to File, New, and I will put 400 in the width and 400 in the height, and I will press OK. And our brush will be very simple. We're just gonna use a normal brush with a small size, of course, and the hardness, it will be around 90 or 92%. And of course the opacity, it will be 100%. And using black as our color, and of course we need to make a new layer, so we can put the brush. I will just make the brush smaller using my brackets on the keyboard, and I will just one click like this, and then maybe I will make it bigger in this area like this, and smaller, a little bit smaller in this area, and I will add one more in here, maybe one smaller in here, and something in between, just like that, you know, very random, and it will look like sparkles or dust. And let me add one more right here. Alright, I think our brush is ready. Now we'll go to Edit, and I will choose Defined Brush Preset, and let's name it Sparkles maybe, and I will press OK. Alright, now we can just close this document in here, or this, and we're not gonna use this brush like this. We're gonna add some presets on it. So let's go first and make a new layer on top, and I will call this Sparkles, and then I will sample the same color that we have on this tentacles, or on this eye of the snail. By pressing Alt or Command, I will just one click, and then as you can see, I make a sample of the same color. Now we'll open the brush settings. If you can't find it, just go to Window and make sure that brush setting is checked, or you can press F5 on your keyboard. Alright, for the brush settings, first we are going to go to Shape Dynamics, and I will change the size jitter to around 100, and I will make the angle jitter set to 50. And then I will go to Scattering, and I will check both axes in here, and I will change the scatter. Let's see, as you can see, we have a preview of the scattering in here. I think I will put around 400 to 500%. Alright, let's keep it 400. And the last thing that we are going to add is a transfer, and this will allow us to control the opacity of the brush. As you can see, if I put it 100, it will make it more down in the opacity, so I'm just gonna put it around 30%. Alright, so our brush is ready to use. Using the brush settings, we can just go and paint on in here using the same color. You can just paint what looks like dust, as you can see in here, and of course we're gonna put some glow on them too. But as you can see, it looks very nice, and we can even make it bigger, and this part's in here. Alright, I think they look nice. Now we can add some outer glow. So I will go to my sparkles layer and I will double click on it, and this will open the layer style dialog. And for this one we're gonna just add an outer glow. So I will check it, and then I will change the color to match the same color that we have in here, and the opacity I will put it around 100, and let me change the size to something 3 pixels. It looks nice, but let me change the color to something, it looks a little bit matching the same color that we have. For the brush, alright, something like that, it will look nice. And maybe I will put down the opacity a little bit to around 70%. Alright, and I will press OK. And as you can see, it looks very nice with the sparkles. Now the last thing that we are going to add is a little bit of adjustment for the colors in here. So I will go to my adjustment layer and I will choose curves, and I will mess with the RGB a little bit. So I will just put this point in here and put it down a little bit, and one point in there, as to give it a little bit of tone. And then I will go to the RGB channels and I will go to the red, and I will make the red a little bit higher, just a little bit. And the same for the green, not that much, somewhere around here. Alright, and then I will go to the blue, and I will add a little bit of blue. It will add this nice cold tone to our image. Alright, it looks nice, but I want it to affect only the wood part of this area. So I will use the same technique by using the layer mask. I will make sure that it's selected, and using black as my foreground color, I will just delete some of this adjustments on the image. Alright, I switch back to a normal brush, and then I will just delete this part in here a little bit, and the same for this area in here. And as you can see, this will add a little bit of tone on this area. And again, we can use the layer mask on our advantage by double click on it. I can put down the density of the layer mask, so it will add more of the adjustment to our image, using only layer mask to control that. As you can see, while I'm putting down the density, you will see the layer mask is changing the color of the black to a little bit of gray, which is mean that now the adjustments will still be visible to some of the parts in here that we just deleted, and that's what we want. Alright, now the last adjustment that we are going to add is an exposure. So in the offset, I will put 0.042, and for the gamma correction I will put 0.96, and the exposure I will keep it 0 in here. As you can see, this will add a little bit of fade to our image, so we'll put down the opacity to around 70%, or maybe a little bit down to around 50. Alright, and that will be all. So I hope that you enjoy and you like this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe and comment, and wait for more tutorials to come, and have a nice day. Thank you for watching.